What's going on, YouTube? Here today with my Mercedes 300 SD again. So another special video here. I've got to do the rear brakes on my car. If you did just watch my last video about rear brakes on a W203 Mercedes, not much has changed, honestly. So here's what they look like. They look very similar to, modern Mercedes brakes. You have to do the same things to get them out, but as you may or may not know, this is a 1983 Mercedes 300 SD. This is the W126 chassis, so this should apply to all the W126s from 1980 through 1991. I'm not sure about the Gen 2, which would have started in 87 through 91. They might be a little bit different, but for the most part this should apply to all the W126's sedans or coupes. So let's get right into it. Okay, so first thing you need to do is to remove the old pads. You're supposed to use like a punch. You can use a nail or you can use a drill bit like I use, and you need to hit these two pins out that hold the spring retainer in right here. So like I said, I just use a drill bit. You can use a nail, you can use whatever you want, and hit these things out. Just like so. Might take a little bit of finesse, but you'll get the hang of it. Just like that. You can remove it, just set it down. Shouldn't matter which one's top or bottom, but you can remember if you'd like. Go on ahead and hit this one out as well. Just like so. I usually like to take a rag and wipe these off so they're clean when I put them back in. Now this little spring guy here should come out. You might have to pry it out with a flat head. Don't be too rough with it, but remember the orientation in which it was in there, like so. It looks exactly the same, but I like to put things back exactly how I took them out. So now you'll have the brake pads here exposed. So you can go about this one or two ways. If you look in there where the brake pads set in there, you can either you can pull the pads out now and buy a piston compression tool that will spread both these pistons back in this way. It'll push on them like this, like spread them apart. I'll leave a link in the description so you can get that. Or if you don't have that tool, alternatively, you need to pry on these a little bit so you can push the pistons back in. You can see doesn't look like I'm doing much, but I am pushing the pistons back in, so you see I can pull the brake pad out. So these pads are brand new, so the pistons are pretty much as far in as they're going to get right now, but chances are in your car this brake pad will be very thin. So you can just take a flathead screwdriver or a pry bar into both sides. If you're replacing your rotors, which I recommend you do, go ahead and just get this in here, and then you can pry on this to push the piston back in on that side, and then you can do the same thing on the opposite side to push the piston back in. If you don't want to ruin your rotor, or you don't want to pry on your rotor, like I said, you need to get the correct tool, which I'll leave in the link in the description, so that you can get that way you can just take the pads out. See, I took the pad out, but you see this pad is almost brand new. And then the piston is right there inside. This one, like I said, is already pushed in, so I'm good on that side. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the other pad. Like so. See, that one's out now too. Now that those are out, we can go around to the back of the caliper, and you'll have to remove the two caliper mounting bolts. They are 19 millimeters. There's one right here on the top and one on the bottom. So let's go on ahead and do that. Okay, back here on the back of the caliper. Sorry I have kind of an odd angle, but I have to because of the lighting. But you'll see, this is the back of the caliper, the brake line. There is a 19mm right here and a 19mm right there. You need to just loosen and remove those, and then the caliper you can take and I usually set mine on the axle shaft, but you need to zip tie it up if you don't want to do that, or find some way to set it up somewhere. Don't hang it by the brake line. So you can use zip ties or bungee cord or whatever you want. But go ahead and loosen and remove both of these bolts. Got the top one out and the bottom one out. Like I said, I'm going to spray this all off with brake cleaner, but if you have the tool that can spread open, you would just stick the tool right in the middle of here and ratchet it, and it will push both these pistons back in. Okay, now working back here on the front, we need to remove this rotor. If you have your e-brake on, make sure you release it. Obviously do that safely so the car doesn't do anything weird, but you need to release it so that this can come off easier. You can sometimes it gets stuck to the hub right here on the front. Mine is already loose, so but pretty much you just need to remove it like this. Some of them have retaining screws on here that I've seen. I don't think they all do, but in the case of your new rotor, it will have like a little notch like this one. You see, it's not a lug stud, but there is a locating pin on the hub that you need to line back up when you put the new rotor on. So yeah, just pull this guy off, set it down. Like I said, you can go ahead and wipe the hub, get it clean, spray it off with brake cleaner, do whatever you want to do, and then you can just reinstall the new rotor into place. So let me go ahead and grab the new rotor. So I got a new rotor here, Zimmerman rotor, pretty good rotors. They'll all come with this silver coating on it, so you can spray it off with brake clean if you get, you know, your greasy hands on it, but it's designed to go away when you brake. Then, you know, this part right here will become shiny like a normal rotor is. So this is just a coating to protect it from rusting. So like I said, this has a little notch that you need to line up with the notch on the hub here. So do make sure you get that lined up correctly. You can just slide it back into place. Like so. And then you want to go ahead and grab your caliper in the back and reposition it back into place and tighten up the two 19mm screws that are in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So go ahead and slide this guy back over like this, and then two 19mm screws. Okay, got the new brake pads here, and these guys will simply just slide right into place, just like you pulled the other ones out, and you'll have to line up the pins in order to get them to be in the correct position. I'll slide one of those guys in the back. Like so, roughly, just get them kind of in the rough position. Just kind of about like that. And then now you'll take and you'll have to put the clip back in that the way you took it out. So the pin needs to slide in front of this clip. So when you stick the pin in through the back, it needs to right on front of this clip. Same for the other one on top. So you may need to excuse me, it's not focusing, but you may need to hold this, you know, hold this in as you slide the pins in. So you see I got the pin there coming in the back, and then you'll just have to do your best to line it up and make sure that this here retaining clip stays in the correct position. It takes a little bit of finesse, but you'll be able to get it. So go ahead and hit this guy in. So the bottom one there is in, just like that. And I'm holding this here so that I can slide the top pin into position. So now I got the top one in, I just need to hit it in. You need to make sure you get the pins completely seated. So now you can see the spring is holding the pads in, and these two pins are completely hammered back in to position. You see how they're both even and they're protruding about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So obviously you'll do the other side the same way you did this side, and you'll be good to go. Some of these cars might have brake wear sensors. It's not common. I mean, well, it is common, but it's not common that there will be a sensor on both sides. I picked the side that didn't have a sensor, so on the later Gen 2 126s, there might be a brake sensor that's on the, you know, it could be on the right side or the left side, and it would just stick right into the back of the pad. If there is a sensor like that, you just get yourself a pair of needle nose pliers and just pull the wire straight out. It's super simple and straightforward. It's not very complicated. So if there is a sensor, I forgot I didn't mention that in the beginning of the video. Before you could remove the pads, the old pads, you would need to remove that sensor, and it just pulls straight out. So yeah, if you have any comments or questions, just ask them in the comment section below. First time on the channel, thanks for stopping by to watch the video, and I hope this helped you out today. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. I'll catch you guys next time.